What is up, everyone? It's your boy Minogi, and I am bringing you the LCS Breakdown, a show where I break down everything that happens in the LCS week by week and what matches and storylines you should follow. For those of you that don't know, the LCS preseason started with the lock-in tournament, and we will be breaking down everything that happened today and what you should be looking for in week 2. Remember, everyone, if you like this content, please subscribe, like, and comment on the video so I can keep making more and more content like this. Alright, let's dive in. Alright, starting with Group A, we have Cloud9, 100 Thieves, FlyQuest, TSM, and Golden Guardians. Let's start with 100 Thieves. Our reigning summer champs are still looking good heading into the beginning of the year. They have one loss, but it was also Tenacity's first game with the squad, and it looked to be a bit of a draft diff, but also the whole team just looked like they were too relaxed and passive, and they didn't really go for as much as they usually do when they're able to turn it on. I think we should wait and see if Tenacity is played again, and maybe the team is able to draft a little better. That allows them to be a little bit more active on the map. Then we have the undefeated Cloud9, which is one of my more favorite storylines in the LCS right now with Fudge Mid. The Fudge factor is in full force as he has the 3 fastest times for mythic item completion times, which is insane. So far so good for this new mid laner, but it'd be a crime not to talk about the one and the only Darshan, who styled his way past the first week, literally dancing on TSM, and you wonder why this man is in the LCS right now. I think FlyQuest actually surprised a lot of people with their mid laner actually looking good and thankfully not looking like a second coming of Ica, which is a huge relief. Not only that, they also have Johnson and Aphromu, who are looking like they haven't missed a beat duoing together in the bot lane. Last but not least, we have FreeSM and Golden Guardians, which are both playing their academy squads, and honestly, not much can be said about these two teams other than their matches are kind of boring to watch, and you know, honestly, it's okay if you miss these right now. Nothing much is gonna happen in my opinion. Okay, let's move on to Group B, and this group just feels a lot more exciting. This group has Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, Dignitas, CLG, and Immortals. Starting out talking about Group B, we have to talk about the one thing that's on everyone's mind and what everyone is hyped for, and that's the king of the mid lane. Bjergsen is back, baby. He doesn't look quite as good as he did before his 1-year break as a coach, but I mean, that's to be expected. But just because he doesn't look as good doesn't mean he isn't good. He's still playing at a top LCS level for mid laners, and it will be interesting to see if he can reach his peaks again as the season progresses. But with every king, there's a prince, a next in line. And the next in line for these LCS mid laners showed up in a big way with his team. I'm talking about the new crown prince of mid lane, Jojo Pyun, and his team Evil Geniuses. Not only did Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid have a banger of a game, Evil Geniuses ended up winning with a superb gameplay from Vulcan, who's looking like he wants to be the best support in the league, right up there with Core JJ. But Jojo not only held his own in lane with Bjergsen, but he showed up in a big way doing crazy things on Corki, like having some amazing packages in the match. Let's talk about Dignitas. And well, everyone was criticizing Dignitas and their acquisition of Blue in the offseason. And well, it's kind of hard not to see why when in the first like 2.5, 3 minutes of the game against TL, he died to an early gank and they couldn't really do much from there. And he's not looking like he was worth the import slot. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw someone like Pole Belter or Demonte coming back and playing for this team, especially in the summer, because we all know Jensen won't be doing it. Oh boy, and now we have the revamped CLG that look better than I think what most people expected them to be, especially their bot lane. Oh man, that bot lane destroyed Wild Turtle and Immortals, and it looked like Luger or Poom are going to be a really good duo in this league. I think we can expect this duo, or at least Luger, to be going to a higher level team next year if they can keep up this level of play. Speaking of Wild Turtle, let's talk about his new team Immortals, and they did not impress and are quickly starting to look like the new 2021 CLG. The only saving grace is that they have Power Evil, who has a pretty good record at taking teams to a middle place standing in the league, if not higher. So we will have to wait and see if they can turn it around, because it's still just a lock-in tournament and these don't count towards the regular standings. Heading into the second week of the lock-in tournament, the storylines and narratives I would keep an eye on would be: number one, watching Fudge and seeing how he handles mid lane this week as well, especially when teams start banning Victor against him. He played a lot of Victor, and I just want to see him on different mages and how he does. And until we see that, I think it's way too early to have an opinion on whether or not he's really good or really bad, or if he's just getting by. Next, of course, we have to be watching 100 Thieves and waiting to see if they're going to have a proactive shift in their gameplay, or if they're going to still remain lazy and they're not going to look like they're doing anything on the map and they just kind of bleed out and lose the match. Last but not least, we have to keep an eye on both Jojo Pulin and Bjergsen and seeing how they progress with more and more matches they play. Both seem to be revving up, and it's exciting to see what will happen next. Alright, that's it for this week. Make sure you catch in the lock-in tournament, but if you can't, you have the LCS breakdown with Minogi right here. And until next time, goodbye, you goobers.